The best way to get better is to practice. And in this example, we're going to look at how do we make the colors work together across our website. As always, these files are available for download using a link provided below in the description. I'll give you a couple seconds so that you can download them. Then you can either follow along or pause the video and attempt it on your own. All right, so let's get started. I have my file open and I see that what I need to do is go to my CSS file. I already have that open, so I'm going to select that. You'll see inside my CSS file, I have a comment with some to-dos on what needs to be done. So the first thing I need to do is I need to apply a background image to the entire page. Now, we say the main part of the page without content, and that's important because remember, we have a main, but that is just where our content is, our main portion of our content. That excludes things like the header and the footer and stuff like that. So what I actually want to do is come over here to my body tag. And I'm going to apply a main-background JPEG to this page. So I'm going to say background, colon, and then I'm going to choose a gray. It's kind of a medium light gray, and then a background image, URL. And you'll see I have main background like that. Specify its position, and I'll leave it like that. Now, I do have another body selector. I should probably put this up inside of that. I'm only doing this here so that it's easy to see and we keep all of our information together. So in reality, my CSS rule here would go up into my other body selector. I'm just doing it for simplicity's sake. My second is to apply the header background to the background for my header for the page. So I have a color already associated, have a URL, but this time my file is going to change, and I'm going to choose header background. Now you'll see that my background is red and my color is white. You notice that I have a tool that I provided that you can go online, upload your image, and then see what the file is going to look like. So I'm going to click follow link or control click, open. I chose header-background. It says pick the number of dominant colors that we're looking for. I'm just going to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and say 5, which is my default. Show the image with the color palette result, yes. Output image with color palette, I'll go ahead and say JPEG and click OK. You notice it shows my image here with the color palette, and I can see what those are because there's a lot of black or nearly black. So I'm going to pick this one to be my background color. So it gives me my hex value. Go back here, change my background so instead of being red, I now have my hex value. This way, when the image pops in, if it takes a little bit to download, I had a color that was pretty close to it. But I also want to change my color here. You notice that right now it says white. This is my text color. If I come back here, you can see I have other colors that I may want to pick. For example, this green, I might want to pick this just to kind of keep it in line with my image for my main text. So I'm going to pick this one because it's bright and contrasts really heavily. Contrast is difference in color. Come back here and define that. All right, so far we've got all of this, and we're going to go ahead to our HTML file, right click, Reveal in File Explorer, and open this up. Now you can see here, my white is showing pretty good for my links, but I'm going to need to change that color. And my green here kind of actually hides itself in here. So I'm going to think maybe I need to go back to the white so it does stand out. So I'm just going to do Control Z because I'm on Windows. If you're on Mac, you can do Command Z. This is going to undo it and go back to white. And I'm going to choose my font weight to be bold. This is picking my appropriate color and weight to make it be seen. In order to also help this be seen a little bit better, I'm going to add a text shadow. So I'm going to come in here and say text dash, and I need to pick a color. So I'm going to pick a color that was in my background image. So just copy and paste that in. Now I need to give my offset. So I'm just going to do 2 pixels down and 2 pixels to my right, and then a slight blur. Is this going to be a solid shadow, which I can put like 1 pixel? Is it going to be kind of a really soft shadow, which I might put 3, 4, or 5? I'm just going to keep it at 2 pixels. I'm going to come over here to my navigation A. This is also part of my header text. And I'm going to say, you know what? I want to make sure that I have those colors kind of like what I was expecting. So I'm going to choose my background color. So it's the same as that main image color, but it's going to remove any of the other colors you might see. So it's a solid. And then I could pick that greenish color maybe for my border and my color. So I'm going to come back here, my image processing, get that color, and choose like that. Then for my header, I'm going to need to swap these colors, obviously. So now my background color is going to be that green, and my foreground color is going to be that black. So now, go back to my website, reload, and you can see now my text is easier to see. That little bit of shadow helps it to stick out. My links are now easy to see. I don't have any of the background image falling through, so it's easier to read that, and I can see the text. You'll also notice that when the background color changes, when I hover over, I get a little bit of that text shadow. I can remove the text shadow by simply saying in my Nav A, text shadow :0. That'll eliminate that if you want to do that and make it a little bit easier to read. The last thing I notice is with my image here, it makes my text a little hard to read. So the easy solution to that is I want to put a background color over my main at least, if not my article. I'm going to choose to do it over the main. So I'm going to find my main selector, background color. I'm going to choose a very light color. If I want to have just a little bit of that background color to show through, I can add an extra letter, which is going to be for my alpha. I'm going to do EEE, EEE, 55, reload. Now you can see why I have a solid color. I have a little bit of transparency. That's what that last number is there for. Now, you might be going, ooh, I want more, I want less. Come back here and you choose 99. Reload. Notice it's less transparent. So the higher my number goes, less transparent I have. And I can actually go into my letters and get even less and less transparent. Here you can see that now my background image is hardly visible, but that's okay because I'm seeing my content and that's what I really want. Okay, so I can kind of play with these to get it to fit the feel for my site. Now we have a good feeling for how to work with our background images and how to stylize our colors with our text and links to work well with our background images. We want to change gears, and we're going to look at using HTML tables to store related pieces of information. That's going to be in our next video, which should have a link on the screen now.